We're going to talk about flexibility for a quick second. A lot of times people think of flexibility, for example, hamstring flexibility. Prop your leg up, stretch your hamstring, work on it like that in order to get better hamstring mobility, flexibility, better range of motion. Actually, one of the best ways to work on improving flexibility of a muscle is not typically what you would think of. And research would actually back one of the best ways is by slow eccentrics. So eccentric motion, range of motion, or eccentric motion, if you were squatting, the descent is the eccentric portion, the lowering portion where you're controlling the weight. The concentric is then the rising portion. Or like a bicep curl, concentric is going up, eccentric is the lowering. So if you think of, if you've ever done like tempo squats or anything tempo, you focus on the slow lowering through the range of motion. One of the reasons that actually, and research would also show that if you really want a lot of muscle soreness, the best way to have people have that muscle soreness is to do slow eccentrics. They're usually miserable. Hence the reason then you get muscle soreness, which a lot of times the reason for that muscle soreness is there's actually a breakdown in the structure of the muscle, and then it repairs obviously and builds stronger. So with eccentrics, and I'm going to show here a hamstring eccentric, one of the best ways to actually stretch your hamstrings is to do a strengthening exercise, which is going to be the RDL here. What you're really going for there is you're focusing on the slow lowering through the entire range of motion. When you get to the end range, you'll hold it there for a second or two. And the idea is if you are getting that soreness, the reason you're getting that soreness is then because as the muscle goes through its full range of motion, it basically is telling the body, okay, if we go through any further, we're gonna rip. So it's not actually gonna rip. Well, it may, no, probably not. So it's basically saying, okay, if we go through its full range of motion and then you do that with weight or with a load, for example, like an RDL, your body is saying, okay, we don't want to tear. So whenever we break down and then rebuild, let's rebuild. That way we can build it a little bit longer with a little bit better flexibility. So essentially you're just training your body to repair muscle to make it more flexible and more mobile and go through a further range of motion. So a lot of times this is one of the best things if you can get somebody, and there are different ways to do this for every muscle in the body. If you can get somebody to start to work on this, this will improve long-term mobility and flexibility way better than just static stretches. So there's a bunch of different ways to do it, but usually this is the best carryover for long-term results.